I Know What You Did Last Summer just came out in theaters, and will you get hooked on this legacy sequel? You're about to find out, but before we get to it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. So I Know What You Did Last Summer is a legacy sequel to the 1997 film I Know What You Did Last Summer. I know, the titles. It's gonna get confusing, but that's besides the point. And we see Freddie Prinze Jr. and Jennifer Love Hyatt reprise their roles from the 1997 films, but we also get a brand new cast as well, and one of the big names from this new cast is Madeline Klein, who is also best known for her role in Outer Banks. Now, it is very similar, and I mean very, very similar to the 1997 film, with a lot of it, like most of it. So the 2025 film starts off and you see these group of friends, and Danica, who's played by Madeline Klein, is engaged and about to get married to one of the best friends of this group named Teddy. And you see them, they're having a party. It's the 4th of July. Well, after the party wraps up, it's dark. They decide to go and watch fireworks on a road, and they cause a car accident. Well, they decide Teddy's father is very rich, he has lots of connections, he'll cover it up for them. All they have to do is just not tell anyone what they saw, what happened that night. So they decide to not say anything. Well, then we fast forward a year, and the friends are all coming back together for a little 4th of July party. And Madeline Klein's character, Danica, she is now engaged to another person because Teddy ended up just going crazy after the whole accident. You know, it's hard for them to be around each other. So she is engaged to this other guy, and now she is having her bridal shower again this 4th, and she gets a note saying, "I know what you did last summer." And then people just start dropping like flies. People are dying by a fisherman in a hook. So it's very reminiscent and similar. And it is all connected back to this car accident. So really, it's nothing new. And the death scenes, you've seen them before. Very reminiscent of Scream, which I love Scream. They are my guilty pleasure, like, movies. I love them so much. So I am a fan of slasher films. So I don't know if it's because I'm a fan, I watch a lot of slasher films, but I didn't get scared in this film once, which kind of disappointing. I was like, okay, this is gonna be it. No, I didn't get scared. But my sister, who went in the theater with me, she did get scared. So maybe if you are used to watching a lot of horror slasher films, then some of the kills and the jump scares may not get you, but if you're relatively new or maybe just not paying attention, you could get scared. Like, it's definitely possible. So I was a little disappointed in the death scenes. The one thing that I was like, oh wow, they did a good job was like the dead bodies, how they were placed. I thought that was like more scary compared to the actual deaths. So I was a little disappointed in the deaths just because they felt very reminiscent. There is one death that very, very similar to Scream. If you know, we can be friends. Yay! So that is one thing. I do think it could have done better on the deaths, and also just the big reveal once you find out who is doing all of these kills. You kind of want it to be big, or, oh, I didn't guess it. Well, I knew who it was. I was like, okay, that's cool. Big shocker there. So I was a little disappointed in that, but overall, I think this film it's pretty good. The cast does good. It's just, we've already seen it before. It doesn't add anything new. And honestly, it could be considered a remake if you didn't have Jennifer Love Hewitt or Freddie Prinze Jr. in it, because it is very, very similar to the 1997 film. So it was a little disappointing just because it was so similar. You basically knew what was going to happen, the steps that was happening, but I guess if you haven't seen the 1997 film, you wouldn't notice all this stuff. Now, the humor in this film is very Gen Z. Like, the amount of references to Gen Z, I was like, oh my gosh, there's a girl who has a true crime podcast, and she says, hey, Slaughter Gang, it was like something like that, and it's very similar to Call Her Daddy podcast, which I think she goes like Daddy Gang or something, I don't know. But there was a lot of Gen Z references throughout this whole film, and I was like, That's an interesting take. So it's very Gen Z coded. I will say that there's a lot of Gen Z humor, things revolving around social media. So you may not necessarily pick everything up if you aren't really into the Gen Z humor. There might be some things that you miss, but overall, I think it's an okay film. If you're a fan of the original or the sequel, you might as well just go and see it. Or if you're a fan of a slasher film, but I also wouldn't go out of my way to go watch it. But let me know if you're gonna go see I Know What You Did Last Summer, or if you're gonna skip it down in the comment section down below. And have a great day. Bye!